Let's invite our market master, Mr. U.R. Butt, Managing Director, Dalton Capital Advisors, joins us in the studio today as our market master. Good morning, Mr. Butt. Thank you very much for joining in. Well, now, as we have been seeing, there is resistance at the all-time high levels, but election surveys done by our own sister channel, among others, is indicating that there could be some kind of certainty for the government after the elections. The NDA seems to be sweeping the popularity polls. Do you think there is more juice left in the hope trade?
That hope trade, I think, would probably take it as far as the all-time high.
Oh, not beyond, you think?
After that, I think generally all-time highs are not broken so easily, not pierced so easily. So therefore, there would be probably some small-time correction. But after that, I think the further news is required, further positive news is required, because the base case today is that the NDA will form the government and probably Modi will be the Prime Minister. But I think as we go along, we will have more surveys till at least April 7th or whatever.
Yes.
And after that, there is a lull on the news front. So that is when I think people will have to make their own judgments. And I think it is not a given that everything will be honky-dory as per the opinion polls, because even with the NDA having 200 plus seats, if they have to look out for support for about 50, 60 or 70 seats, the sort of combination that will come will probably not enable the Prime Minister to have a very important say in matters. So there will be lots of pulls and pressures. So the base case that there will be a very strong leader and the economy will take a turn for the better, that is not a given. So therefore, I think increasingly people will come to realize that it will be some sort of a government which would not have such a strong leader, may have a strong leader, but would be constrained by other political forces who will probably pull him down from taking all those big measures that generally the market is assuming. So I think that there would be a certain amount of trepidation as we go along. Plus, of course, we have not seen the last of the taper, so that the taper would be there. The problems in Ukraine, I think the last thing has not been said. I think there will be further problems there. And of course, today the hope rally is also supported by the current account deficit figures that came out yesterday. But if you really see the services, which account for 60% of the GDP, that has been contracted for the last 8 months. So therefore, what are we really seeing in terms of GDP growth numbers? That would probably not even be 6% as most people believe. Even I think a lot of people are saying that it would be probably somewhere closer to 5%. So I think there is a lot more of effort that is required to take the market up from here. And finally, the proof is in FIIs coming in. Now, if you see the first 2 months of last year, saw something like about $8.5–9 billion coming. We are now struggling with $500 million. So therefore, I think it is not as if so much more money is going to come in. And even if there was some small outflow, at least earlier we had LIC which could step in. But today LIC has been completely incapacitated by by being a wing of the government, as it were, or the government treasury. So they just have to sell everything in, that they have in order to accommodate further PSU outflows, PSU divestments. So therefore, there are a lot of structural changes that have taken place. So therefore, I think it's worthwhile being a bit cautious on this sort of hope trade.
Okay. Mr. Butt, good morning.
Morning.
So when you say cautious, what do you mean? Because, to most of the people we speak to in the market, they say that although with a new government, there's no assurance of things getting better, but at least there's some relief that things may not get worse. So if you have funds now, do you deploy it into the system and do you increase your weightage in some of the key sectors like banks, IT, etc.? Or do you just wait for some concrete results on the policy front?
No, I think the Modi trade as a call, so that is worth playing, in the sense that there will be a lot of hope if India forms a government. So therefore, it is worth taking that call that there will be a sudden change in the fortunes of cyclicals as far as the market is concerned, not exactly in terms of fundamentals, but cyclicals will start looking better because there will be some hope that huge changes would happen. But I think the market will probably give the government probably 6 months' time to see whether there will be some results out of that. And if, as I said, if he is going to be pulled down by coalition compulsions, then I think market will make its own mind as to whether this is sustainable or not. But the hope trade would probably play out if the election results are anything like what current surveys suggest.
Okay. Well, actually, since you spoke about cyclicals, we have this window now for our money control readers to ask you questions, ask the Market Master question. And something is coming on the lines of what you just discussed. This is a question from Srinivas from Chennai. He is asking, would you advise investing in PSU banks like Punjab National Bank and Bank of Baroda? He says ahead of RBI policy, but really, even if you take it plain vanilla, would you advise buying in these kinds of stocks?
I think there is further pain on the PSU banking front. In addition to what is generally sort of seen as NPA problems that they have, which is quite serious. Plus, in addition, I think they will have to start toning down their growth rates because of lack of capital. Because the only one who supplies capital today is LIC, and that I think that has been done to the hilt. Government has provided all of 11,000 crores, which is probably 10% of the requirement. So therefore, I think these banks will find it difficult to comply with Basel III norms.
So don't buy is your advice?
So I think the growth will suffer. In addition, unless, like say for example, if the growth was very robust, even probably NPA problems could have been absorbed in terms of percentages. But if growth is not going to be there of that magnitude, then I think NPA problems will look more serious than they really are. So I think it may not be a great idea to buy them now. And of course, whatever surpluses they have been drawn down as dividends. So therefore, they really have between a rock and a hard place, that where not enough capital, but whatever they are generating is drawn as dividend by the government. So therefore, I think it is not a great place to be in. But I think over the next few quarters, there would be an opportunity to get into these stocks, but not exactly now.
So what is a great place to be in at this point?
Well, I think private sector banks offer a good opportunity. Plus cyclicals, I think at some stage in the run-up
when you say cyclicals,
capital goods,
you mean capital goods?
Capital goods.
Or you mean autos?
Autos, yes. I think autos might be a good opportunity to buy.
What comes under cyclicals for you?
Yeah, it is banking, of course, the private sector banking. Then you have even say for example energy is some place where there will be a lot of hope when the new government comes in place. So that is probably one place where one could have some select stocks in the portfolio.
Okay, I wanted to ask you about fixed income. Would you say that fixed income, because markets are at their highest point historically, that fixed income is now offering a better return?
Yeah, I
or
think
closing
so.
The gap with equities?
Yeah, I think long dated, that is long duration fixed income securities, the fixed income funds are, I think, the place to be in. I don't know whether they would give you great returns in the next 3 or 6 months, but over the next couple of years, I think there's a lot of money to be made there, because I think interest rates would fall after some time, and that is the time. By that time, the market would have seen this, and therefore there may not be great opportunities there. But this is the time to get into long duration fixed income funds, I think.
Okay. So for no-brainer trades, for those who are forbidden to buy shares, I guess that's useful advice.
Yeah.
Mr. Bhatt, pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us with
Thank
your
you.
thoughts.